One of the many perks I get in my job is that I get to meet amazing people every day. I have the privilege of gaining insight into what they're able to accomplish on an everyday basis and on many different levels. I often work to tweak or to optimize to add new tricks and tools, but I also learn a lot from every single conversation, whether that's with my students, my clients, my training buddies, and family members. So I asked some of them whether they would be okay with sharing their wisdom with more people, and the following podcast series is the result. Enjoy! This week's guest on Weekend Warriors Rock is Liz. Liz is the Principal Service Development Manager at Te Whatuora, New Zealand's government health agency, and she's worked as a contract manager for the Pasifika Medical Association. A little while ago, I worked with Liz for her master's at Academy X, which focused on co-designing information material for rheumatic heart disease. When I first met Liz, she told me that she was going to be the future Samoan TED talker. And I have to say that I truly believe that since meeting her and working with her and seeing her work on her master's, being active in the Pasifika and Maori communities across Auckland, being a mum to beautiful 4-year-olds, and at work navigating the stormy waters of public health that we've got at the moment. I'm really, really excited that Liz has agreed to join me this morning on what perhaps is not as big as a TED Talk series, sorry, Liz, but hopefully a great chat for us nevertheless and informative to our listeners. Talofa, Liz, how are you?
Talofa, Talofa, Sylvia. Thank you for that amazing intro. They sound really important, but I can just assure you that probably those titles are just titles and they're just words. And what's probably most important to me is my role as a mother and a wife and how I'm stacking up against that. But you asked, how am I? I'm feeling great, and I'm feeling optimistic about the future, and I'm very humbled to be invited as your guest, Sylvia. So hopefully there's a message there for someone and your listeners out there that they can take back and reflect on it and be blessed by what it is that I have to share.
Absolutely. I think you've got a lot to share with all the different hats that you wear all the time. And, you know, that optimistic streak that you have, that's so contagious and the big smile. And I think that's one thing I've really, really appreciated working with you for, I think it was only a year in total or so, you smashed it. But, you know, I really miss our conversation since, so it's really awesome to be able to connect today. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you're from originally, where are you based now, where have you been in between?
Yeah, so where do I start? I'll start with my whakapapa and yeah, my ancestry. So I'm Samoan Chinese. My parents are migrants to New Zealand from Samoa. So I am the proud daughter of migrants who came over at a time that was like a little bit turbulent in the Samoan New Zealand history. It was around the Dawn Raid time, so was a little bit challenging. But I guess that resilience is kind of carried through my parents and through to us. So my parents, when they came from Samoa, they settled in West Auckland, where we still live today. I am the second of 4 kids, for growing up adult kids, and we're kind of just like paved our own pathways. My main, I guess, pride and joy is my husband and my children that you've mentioned, Sylvia, my 4-year-old teenagers at the moment. They're so funny, and they're at kindy at the moment, and if they were here, you'd hear them. We live in West Auckland. I can't see us going out of West Auckland because there's just so much to do in this space in terms of political, social, you know, there's just a lot that I still see as my duty of care, my obligation to my community, which is what has kept us here. So for your listeners out there, my husband is not from West Auckland. He is he's Māori, Welsh, Samoan, Tongan. He's a lot of things, and he is from Tokoroa, and so Tokoroa's got its own interesting demographics and makeup as well, but it's not that dissimilar to West Auckland.
Mm.
And so he kind of sees that, okay, our future and our calling is still in West Auckland. In terms of where I've been, so my background, my I have an undergraduate in politics and sociology, and that kind of stemmed from, I guess, just me growing up in this environment where I'm navigating two worlds, being
Mm.
Samoan, living in mainstream society, and trying to figure out why different people had different, I guess, treatment. So, like going to the doctors and trying to translate for my parents, wondering why my parents had a different pathway and why things were a little bit more
Mm.
challenging for them. So that led me down advocacy and social justice and trying to understand society and the different treatment. And I guess from a young age, I saw the inequities and I saw the inequalities. I saw all of that. So it was like my parents said to us, instead of fighting with your fist, you fight with your brain.
Mm.
So, a way to really have an impact in society is to go out and be that change. And
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, I have all of this built up emotion and anger in me, but I'm just going to transform that into policy change,
Yeah.
social influences and the influence that I have on others. So that's kind of where that came from. And then when I started doing my degree, I realized that I actually don't want to be a policy analyst. Didn't want to do any of those things, but there was something in there about just fighting for people who didn't have a voice.
Mm.
And
Mm.
again, that stemmed from my parents. Went down that pathway, but my I guess journey to education was not straightforward. So it was at a time where um so of my four siblings, me, my sister, and my brother, we were all at university. Uh, I was doing my BA. My sister was completing her master's in biological sciences, and my brother was had just started his graphic design.
Mm.
Um, and at the time of us completing our or going through our own tertiary um, journeys, and the reason why I share this is because it kind of shapes my character. So my mum was diagnosed with breast cancer,
Mm.
and my dad was the only one working for the family. So I saw myself as the sacrificial lamb because of the three of us, it was like my degree is not as important as my brother's degree and my sister's degree. So this was back in 2009. I dropped out of uni, and then there was a 9-year hiatus in between. And at that time, I'd met my husband. I was working at Auckland Council as an advisor around youth programs and community development in the Māori and Pacific space.
Mm.
So I managed to work my way up without a degree. So it hasn't been go to high school and then go to university and then graduate. It was like I did that for my family, I did that for my siblings, but then realized I needed to do that. So yeah, got my degree, and then life carried on and it continued. My mum got better. My dad ended up retiring. My siblings ended up getting great jobs and their own careers, and then I had my children. And then through the turbulent times of having the kids and working at Te Whatuora, I was disestablished, and that's again what led me on the path of what next for me and what else is there for me to do. And that's when I thought, no, I'm gonna put myself first, and I've put the kids and our family first, and that's why I had applied into the master's program because I guess it was just I was at a point where it was like, well, career's kind of taking a break, and I need to prove to myself that I am enough and I'm good enough. So it was
Mm.
kind of like I was wrestling with the 19, 20-year-old image of who I was, where I
Yeah.
started something and finished it late. But this was like I needed to prove to myself that I have the guts and I
Yeah. Yeah.
have the strength to finish it,
Mm.
finish what I start. Proved that, and it proved right. And I feel like
Fully.
I had the great support at Academy X, and I'm so grateful to you, Sylvia. And as I said throughout, our sessions together and the supervision that I got from you, that life is hard, life is busy, the masters is busy, but the dedicated time that I had with you was like a counseling time. And it was like this dedicated time where I could just offload. And once I've emptied my cup, and unfortunately it was to you, I then got to see clearly again. I got to become principled and grounded again. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's like life is just
Absolutely.
hard.
And I can see so some stuff that I learned new as well. I can see lots of parallels with my upbringing as well, which is really awesome. And it's probably why we, connected pretty easily. Even
Yeah.
though your background is quite different. So my mum brought us four up by herself, and her quote was not fight with your brain, which I laugh actually, but it was all I can give you guys is education because we were poor. And
Yeah.
education in Germany at the time was still free, and it is still relatively free compared to what universities charge here. And that was, I can give you the support and the time that you need to develop your brain ultimately, and be curious and learn and reflect and that kind of thing. So I think that's where we really, a lot of parallels, have a lot of parallels,
Synergized.
which is really awesome. Yeah. I love that also, how I think your journey shows how it's not necessarily the degrees as such or the certificates, whatever we gather. It's literally just the tag, isn't it? I mean, all the skills that you would have developed across these different roles in the past and worked your way up. And all the different perspectives that you gathered there would have got you into that spot to do the masters that you did. And you wouldn't have been able to do that as a 19, 20-year-old either. So I absolutely love you sharing your story. So thank you for that. So with all of that, I think I heard already a little bit of snippets of if I asked you what gets you out of bed in the morning, what would you say?
Oh, so many things. But at this stage of my life and where I'm at, for me, it's really about mastery. So I think it's it's growth. Like I am seeking growth, and I'm looking forward to the renewed opportunity to become more aligned with my future self. So one of the things that I love doing, and I've only just recently gotten back into it, to help to control the anxiety and the noise and block all of that out, is the journaling. And through my journals, I'm writing my thoughts around my health. What are my health goals? What are my wealth goals? And what are my relationships? So again, it keeps things in perspective for me, and it keeps me principled. And I'm trying to seek this level of mastery. So the future self is because so with my masters, for your listeners out there, is around gamification and gamifying health literacy for Māori and Pacific communities, specifically in rheumatic fever. So I'm seeing myself as that person. Who does that person need to be? What conditions do I need to create for myself? What relationships do I need to have around me to step into that person? So yeah, the first thing that really comes to mind is, okay, I need to execute. I need to keep taking steps towards that person, and it is around just mastering the things that are in my head and some of the concerns that I also used to have. Like when I was talking to you a lot, I spoke a lot about this whole imposter syndrome, and I was like, Sylvia, I don't feel enough. I feel like a fraud, and so I'm now battling through that. I mean, like, I'm working through that. Because I don't have you to talk to. So I've got my journal and I'm writing my thoughts down.
Yes, that's
And
lovely. And how
yeah,
often do you do that?
every single day. So it's
Every
my morning,
day.
my morning routine
Yeah.
is I start my morning right. I have to,
Yeah.
because I heard a quote somewhere is half written is morning well started, or something like that. I think I've made it up.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
When you've
I think
written
it
it down, you've
also
already half.
works to get you like to think, I guess, about the practicals. Like,
Yeah.
in action, what does it mean? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's putting the action into practice, and it's putting the words into action as well. So
I'm curious,
yeah.
do you write that in English?
Pardon?
Do you write that in English?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, just a curiosity question.
Yeah, no, I do, but there are a lot of quotes that are very dear to me that have been passed on to my parents that
Mm.
I still write in Samoan, like around the house, and especially because I'm trying to encourage the kids to be proud of who they are and that they're multiple things, that they're not English. You're Samoan and you're Māori first, and you're Tongan and you're Welsh, and it's all of these things. And because I'm trying to get them, I'm starting in the home first, get them to be exposed more to the Samoan language and te reo. So we have words around the house that's like, this is the Samoan word for the fridge. This is the Samoan word for your plate. So it's and then because of that, I forget what the English word is.
That's interesting. I'm sure there's whole linguistic studies about that. How I guess the space that it occupies in your brain, in the words in particular languages and the associations that you have with that. Beautiful studies also in and around the people that you're with and how your language shifts in your identity. So that's why I love that stuff when you're saying, what relationships do I need to have, or what networks to support that mastery and that future self that I want to be, which is really powerful. Um, that's so awesome. Now you talked a little bit also about physical health in there. What kind of goals are there? Would you mind sharing, or some actions that you take that really help you? Because you're in the health space, so you're the guru, about all of this.
Exactly. Walking. And that's why
Walking.
I have this, a Fitbit.
Yes.
So, I've been sitting on this for such a long time around getting back into my physical health and my mental health. And before I had the kids, I was very fit. And I was so much smaller. And I'll get there eventually. And I did a lot of CrossFit. I did a lot of running and walking. I did a lot of like tough mudder, all of that stuff. And the fun things that you would do, I guess, with your spouse. So me and Hugh would do that. But then when I had the kids, and again, life just gets busy, and then other things kind of take priority. And because the health of my family was most important, my own health was then deprioritized. So it has been a bit of a journey, and again, it's about mastery. It's who's this person that I want to step into. And when I have a clear mind and a clean house, and that's what I pride myself in, is having a tidy house and a clear mind, then I think better and I can put myself first and fill my cup up first. So yeah, I walk every single morning, and I aim for between 10K to 15K steps.
Oh, yeah.
Not always achievable, but at the moment I'm probably maxing like 12K steps a day. So that's good. And like every now and then I'll just look at my watch. Okay, I've done 7K steps. I need to get up and walk. So it does kind of force me to get up out of my chair, just keep walking. But yeah, for me, it's just about movement. And sometimes when I do walk, it's moving the stress and anxiety out of my body. And sometimes because we have like a relatively small house and we've got a small patch of grass just at the back that the twins play on, I would literally ground myself. So I would walk from the house to the back, take my shoes and socks off, and I'm just standing there and I'm like, okay, I need to breathe. I need to feel human again. I need to look at the sky. I look birds chirping. So I do a lot of the grounding, and I don't do that every day, but I am always planning to, and it's why again it's really important for me to journal, because I keep myself accountable, and it's like, oh, I didn't do that. Okay, I'll do this maybe tonight when the kids are asleep. And then she's wondering, what are you doing outside? You're taking the rubbish.
Oh, I would have thought he'd be right there next to you. I'm surprised.
Oh no. That's the next that's the
Yeah.
next level.
And I love that. And I think that's such a practical tip, because I've now got the luxury to be near the beach, and for me, the sea does that. So just being near the waves and having the smell of the salt and the taste and the auditory stimulation, I guess, from the waves, and that you literally there, aren't you? But you don't need that really. Like you say, a patch of grass in the backyard and just being bare feet
Yeah.
is such a powerful thing to do. That's really lovely. I hadn't thought about that in years, actually. So I think I used to do that in Germany where everything's really built up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. And you already said kind of like sometimes that gets your brain moving and your mood shifting and so on as well. So I'm curious in and around any strategies that you have for, I guess, keeping the brain young, because, study and work and
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm big on acronyms and acronyms that work for me and also acronyms that work for Hugh and our family. And so I have this thing that's called the JRC, journaling, reading, and then connection. Very basic.
journaling, reading, and what was the last one?
Connection.
Oh, connection. Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's really important to journal. I keep myself principled and I'm able to then, try to shake off the noise and misinformation and all of that stuff that's happening at the moment.
Mhm.
The reading for because I love to read and I realize now it's probably come from like I'm curious, but my mum says I'm nosy, and that since I was little, I've always been the nosy child, and I'd always been the one questioning things. And
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, mum, that's a really interesting way of framing things. But I
Yeah.
think it's a Samoan thing. Like, it's just the way the islanders are. So, so yeah, just I really like to read, and it's like I like to expand my mind just around different things. I wouldn't really read novels, but it's like I love bibliographies and all of stuff like that. And
Mm.
then what's really important for me, and again, because I journal, I've been journaling, I identified that I haven't really been connecting with my friends, and I have
Mm.
such a great group of friends, a great network of people around me who just care, who love us, who pray for us, who uplift us. And there's like a bit of a spiritual war out there at the moment, just politically, things that are happening in Gaza, things that are happening here in Aotearoa, things that are happening in Indigenous communities around the world. Um, so it's like there's a lot of that, and it's really important that we don't get sucked into that, but that we're connecting to our friends and checking up on them,
Yeah.
connecting in with our families. And there's a lot of family tensions that always happen, but it's like once you lose them, they're gone. So it's a reminder to me that I have to um, look internally at the condition of my heart. And, you
Mm.
know, although my heart has been a bit hardened because of my journey in life, I have to learn how to forgive. I have to learn how to reach out. So yeah, the connection one is just I really got to reach out again to my best friends. And these were the ones that I've grown up with in Sunday school and church, at school, at university, and then we're at each other's 21st birthday, 18th birthday, at our baby showers. These are the ones that really keep me grounded, and we all have the same values. And
Mm.
the ones that, when I was speaking about the whole mastery, and it's really important that I guard who is around me and my circle of influence. It's, I guess, I'm quite prideful. No, that's the wrong word. I'm proud to say that I have a really good group of friends around me, and I haven't had to cut anyone off, but
Mm.
I have had to be really protective of my energy and who comes into this
Mm.
circle. And by that I mean the other influences. So it's like the influences at work and some of the new relationships. It's like, oh, really got to be protective of that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's really got to be intentional about that, absolutely. Because like you say, there's so many pressures outside that it's tempting to get sucked into, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, being intentional about that and keeping the future self and that mastery component in the back of your mind. That's beautiful. There's lots of gems for people listening.
Oh, I hope so.
Absolutely. And then you've had your fair share of when things are tough.
Oh, yeah.
What would you say are your top tips from, say, even
Oh
just
gosh.
last year? Oh my goodness.
I know, eh? I was reflecting on this in my journal, and just I was reflecting on our time together, as your candidate, and how you really helped me shift and move through some of the tough times that that happened during the masters. Like, there were so many reasons why I shouldn't have completed it, but I just kept pushing forward. Um, so in reflecting on that, my top tips, I guess, and the first thing I do when it gets tough, and this is me again trying to step back into my spirituality, is I pray.
Mm.
It's it's not even like a full-on worship with the band, but it's just like a quick conversation with the universe, with God, just like, I
Mm.
need your help right now.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I pray, I breathe, I move,
Yeah.
and I shake it off. And then, like I said, I do a lot of grounding too. It's just reminding me that I'm human. Um, yeah, what else do I do? Reach out and connect with others. In the work context, it's reaching out and connecting with my safe space at work,
Mm.
where it's like no judgment. It's just, this is what's happened. Do you have any guidance or support for me?
Mm.
And
Mm.
one of the things that I've been very grateful for, I guess, in my journey as a young Pasifika trying to carve out a future for yourself
Mm.
without a degree, so this was quite a few years ago, is I've always had a mentor,
Yeah.
and I've had Pasifika mentors. So
Mm.
I've had Tuiloma Samu. She's a great mentor, and she used to be an advisor at the Human Rights Commission. So she was very accustomed and very well aware of the issues there for young Pacific women. Another one was Dr. Junior Uru, um, Tangaloa Junior Uru, who is currently he is the director of Pacific Health at Ministry of Health. So I've had access to these people who are in high positions, but they haven't come to me. I've had to go up to them
Mm.
and, put myself in front of them and say, hey, look, this is me.
Mm.
This is where I'm at. I humbly come before you to seek your support. I'm
Mm.
wanting to connect
Mm.
with you. So, it's like
Mm.
you have to humbly do that. And it's
Yeah.
really hard to ask people who are busy that you need their support.
Yeah.
But it has worked in my favor, and I have been, I guess, just tenfold blessed because of it. And
Uh-huh.
and then with our masters, like, I consider you a mentor, and just the guidance and the advice that I have gotten from you has just been very invaluable.
Mhm. I think it's
um
always that mentors, good mentors, I think, also realize that, A, the potential of someone they're working with, but also the learning that we get. So it's always a good mentorship relationship is reciprocal as well. So while you say you're humble and you might not feel like you're contributing much, there's so much that you're bringing as well. And that's what I love about teaching is actually forces me into a different perspective as well and seeing things differently, being forced to explain them in different ways and so on. So I'm sure your mentors are thrilled to have been working with you just as much as you are.
I'm sure they're like, too many questions, Liz.
Oh, no. Any particular tips of how do you celebrate when things go well?
Um, the first thing I do is I don't rush past that joy. Like, I
Nice,
make
yeah.
space for it, and I spend I spend time making sure that I'm letting the important people know. So I would always text my dad first. I'll text my parents that this has happened. And sometimes it's something as small as like pay rise, or like I've managed to push something through for our company, and so I'm wanting to
Yeah,
celebrate.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I don't rush past it. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's awesome. I've worked
Yeah.
towards this. We celebrate together, and usually as a family, like we'd go out to dinner or would have dinner at home. And if you're the one that's sharing the news, you're the one that's shouting the family. So
Yeah.
you have to be
Oh, okay.
mindful in my family that it's like if you're going to share news, you have to share your bank balance as well, because that's the expectation. And I just, for me, it's like every win reflects this bigger story, and everyone that's helped to shape who I am, and shape me, my character, and the way that I behave in certain circumstances. So it's like, my
Mhm.
family, my parents, my kids, my husband, mentors, and then bigger than that, it's my ancestors. So
Mhm.
I really celebrate with gratitude, and I just remember all the sacrifices that they have made, and the ones who have trailblazed the way for me
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
come through. So that I think that's why I have this sense of, I have an obligation
Yeah,
to
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah,
community.
yeah.
And it's just the remembering why am I doing this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. I think that always comes through in any conversation that we've had, which I really appreciate. And I guess not having grown up in that kind of context and environment, and very much just focused on immediate family. I'm trying. I think I've learned a lot from working with people like yourself and lots of other people in the past to change my thinking around that, and not just in points of celebration, but everything that we do, how much that's shaped by we're only here because of other people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome. And if I put you on the spot and said, what's your biggest achievement? What would you say?
Hmm. Um, oh man, yeah, there's a lot of things. But I guess other than giving birth to two healthy 8.5-pound babies each, which has given me bragging rights for life. My biggest achievement isn't locked in like getting my master's, or like I think
Mhm.
it's the achievement is the superpower as well, and it's being able to turn my trauma into triumph.
Yeah.
Like if you look at my life history, and like would always say to you, I feel like my life is Days of Our Lives, like an episode of Shortland Street, or
Yes.
it's just being able to turn pain into purpose, and it's like the whole even journey with my masters, it's being able to turn the whole lived experience with rheumatic fever, the lived experience with
Mhm.
the painful penicillins, into then turning it um into conceptualizing it and turning it into a framework that I can then help others who are coming through that journey of living with
Mhm.
rheumatic fever as well, and um teaching them not life-saving, but probably life-giving health knowledge in ways that are engaging and culturally affirming and
Yeah.
fun to receive that info.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's so powerful. I like that as opposed to like you say that, and I think that's a Western perspective too, isn't it? Often it's said that that's the one thing in my life, and it's all a very individualistic kind of phrasing of it rather than collectivistic, actually, who's helped me to get to that point, just like what you were saying
yeah,
earlier. It's like the skills, I guess, to have and the perspective that carries you through and that you approach things with across the board. That's beautiful. One very last question, if you don't mind. Are you watching, reading anything at the moment? You say, you've got your JRC on the R. Is there anything specific you're engaging with where you say, oh, actually, other people should know about that?
um, yes. So, because again, life is busy and and a little bit hard at the moment. I've got some books, but then I've really gotten into audiobooks.
Mhm.
So what I'm listening to at the moment is the $1 Million Habits by Brian Tracy,
Mhm.
which is great. And there's just a lot of gems in there that can be applied in any sector.
Mhm.
And I know that's kind of got like a business entrepreneurial
Mhm.
element to it. but yeah, so I really like Million Dollar Habits. But I'm also re-listening to Atomic Habits as well by
Yeah.
James Clear.
Yeah.
And basically, I think in essence, both books remind me that real change comes from small, consistent, and intentional action. And again, it goes back to my journaling. So
Mhm.
yeah, and it's just, like I always think great ideas not executed are great ideas wasted or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. I don't know the exact quote, but I know the gist of it. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I think I love those two. I love the James Clear. I don't think I've seen Brian Tracy, so I'll definitely check that out. And I'll pop it in the show notes as well for listeners to have a look at afterwards. Anything else you have to share? You've always come up with any meeting, you always come up with real gems. So just wondering
Oh,
anything.
no, I guess just to sum it all up, it's really important that you look after you first. It's really important. And I'm still wrestling with it. It's fill your cup first because you can't pour from an empty cup. So you
Mm.
can't pour from an empty cup. And this is the quote that like my best friends and my best friend in particular, Sunui, keeps saying to me every time I go to her, and it's like, this is what's happening and blah blah blah. And she would just take a step back and she's like, dude, you're pouring from an empty cup. Fill your
Yeah.
cup first. So yeah, if there's anything that your listeners can take away, it would be look after you so that you can then look after your family and your community and your networks and just the flow and effect of that.
Love
And I'm
that.
still working on that.
Yeah, we all are. Thank you so, so much for the conversation, Liz. It's been
Oh,
an
thank
absolute
you.
pleasure. And I hope we can connect again very, very soon.
Yes. Say lava mo lava noa. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoy this podcast, click like on YouTube and subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Apple or Spotify. Weekend Warriors rock.